Hey there, in this video, I will give a quick overview of Notion's timeline view, which is one of its 6 view options for databases. So the options available in timeline view, if you just click on the 3 dots in the top right-hand corner and click on layout, you'll see all your options here. The date that you want to view this timeline by can be chosen. So if I just click on show timeline by, you can see this database has 3 date properties and we've chosen client work timeline. Just a note that it does have to be a date format, not just a number. You can also toggle on separate and start and end dates, and then it will ask you to choose a date property from the database for your start date and for your end date. So I'll just toggle that off. You can also toggle on show tables. So you'll see when I toggle that on, there's a table that appears on the left-hand side. And in this case, we can see all of the clients in the database, which is handy because we can't necessarily see all our clients in the timeline view as it is here. And you can change what is viewable in that left-hand column. So if I'll just toggle this back off. So if you see when I toggle on show table, this table properties pops up. So if you click on that, you can choose here what you want to view and not. So right now we can only view the name and we can see the client name here. So if we also wanted to see their amount owing in this timeline, just click on that eyeball and now you can see the amount owing is showing as well. So you can customize the view any way you want there. And I'll just toggle that off. And then as with any other database, you can choose how the pages open, inside peak, center peak, or full page. So some other things you can do with the timeline view. You can change the dates right here without opening any other pages by clicking and dragging the start or end of the bar, or you can just click and drag the whole bar itself. So just move it over here. Move that back. Oh, there we go. So that's easy to quickly change dates if you need to. You can also change how you're viewing the dates in what increments. So you can choose hours or days, week, whatever. So if I just change it to year, you'll see everything's much more condensed. Oops. So I'll just change that back to month. And what was the other thing? You can add times, specific times to any of these. So if you just click on the bar to open, in this case, the client, and you click on the timeline and or date field and just toggle on time, it defaults to 12 a.m. You can change this to whatever you want. Let's just say 8 a.m. And then we're good there. And then if you want that to be visible on the timeline view here, just click on the properties, which is where you can choose everything that's shown. So right now we only see the name and the package or offer. And we'll have to click on the client work timeline, and there it is. And there's the one where we added 8 a.m. to that. So yeah, so that's how you would add the times. You can also see the full timelines. As you can see, like sometimes they sort of drag off the screen because they're long. If you just hover over this arrow right here, it shows you the full timeline as well. And it will also show you if there are rows or pages in the database that don't have a date up here. So it just says no date. There's five of them. And you can see all these clients, we do not have a date. So it's just a little red flag. Since this is a timeline view, it's all about the dates. And, you know, as we just saw, we can choose which properties are shown or not. You can show or not show any of the properties within the database. So yeah, that's basically it. As with all other databases in database views in Notion, you can filter and sort. So you can like sort to alphabetize ascending or descending any of the properties within the database. And then with filter, same thing, similar. You can this can affect any of the fields and data within the database. It's just telling the database what data you want to include and what data you want to omit. So you can have, you know, the source database or original database with which was the original database created, also known as inline databases in Notion. And you can have database views, which are copies of those source databases. We create copies of the source databases in Notion so that we can then adjust and customize them however we want. So they can look different and be organized different and have different data viewed and shared. So you can have multiple different views and formats to display the same data in multiple different places within your Notion workspace, all coming though from the same original database. So in other words, changing the view or format of these database views like this timeline here will not change how the source database looks. So that is a really handy tool in Notion, which allows you to just take the same data, but display it and use it in a bunch of different ways. So how to tell the difference between these original databases and the inline or copies, sorry, the original inline databases or the copies of the databases. So if you go to any database that you can see, click on the three dots here. If you see source, and then it'll have a database name beside it. If you see that there, that means that this is not a source or original database. This is a copy or view. And it's telling you if you want to go to the source database where this data is coming from, click here. Another way is if you click on layout and toggle on show database title, you'll see the title showed up here. And on the little icon, there's an arrow. This means it's a view. It is not the original. It's a copy or view of the original database. I'll just toggle that off. And then similarly, if you open your left-hand menu and look at the pages that are nested in here, all the ones have a little arrow here on the icon that are copies or views of other databases. All these ones up top, which do not have an arrow, are original pages or databases. So I hope that was a helpful overview of timelines.